Here we go. It's the Moot. The Moot, not the Moot is as quiet, but the Moot, and it's back for a round two, a show two. And what we're going to do is we're going to play the little intro for the Moot.
But now something is about to happen that has not happened for an age. Gathering.
Right, guys, that was so quick. A few seconds. So, London started last week, and I'll put Sam in the spot. And there you go, Sam. You've been forced into it, child labour and all that. You can raise the first point, whatever you want to talk about, and we'll go from there.
Well, we were just talking about weather, weren't we? Should we have a little chat about weather?
Oh, yeah, dead British, that, innit?
His British side is showing.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, at the moment, me and Paul are doing all right. And I suppose you are in London, aren't you? It's quite nice over here at the moment. We're supposed to have a heat wave next week.
Lovely day.
But like Paul has just said, Paul's more in the central of the UK, where me and London are at the south. And we're only a few hundred miles away from one another. It's not like Texas, you know, where they could have different weather patterns in the States. It's so huge. But yet we're going to have totally different weather patterns next week. Apparently, Paul's going to be like almost tropical, whereas usually it's pissing down, basically.
Constantly pissing it down. Yeah. Everyone's tuning in for the latest conspiracies and dead deep theories and really taking it down. Hey, welcome. It's the weather show.
Weather show.
But if you think about it, that's what me and Sam was just talking about while you were just having a bit of food at London, is that how can a place so close to each other in the sense of on a map have different weather systems? I know people talk about geoengineering and different things, but even before that was a thing, you had different climates in what Americans call states. Us, we call them boroughs or districts and different things like that. And you have different weather systems. You know, it's always famous in Scotland, and then 1 minute it's raining, next minute it's cracking the flags, as we say, dead warm, back to the rain, back to the sun, and it's all over the place. And we've always had it. And it's just an intrigue to me that, you know, because if you really think about it, how is that possible that you can have? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've literally seen it raining like hard, like monsoon in my back garden, and in my front garden it's been cracking flags, sunny weather. I'm like, you're talking feet.
Yeah.
You know, it's so strange. Like time zones, that's another thing. Like the weather, they're just freaky, aren't they?
Yeah. You know what, actually, the other day it was raining outside this kitchen window and my children wanted to go to the park, and I'm like, no, it's raining, right? But my daughter was looking at that window, well, this window, that window over there, and she said, no, it's not, it's sunny. And when I actually looked over there, it was sunny. So I had to take them to the park because that window was raining, but that window was sunny over there. So
you threw him out that window.
Threw them out that window. Yeah.
But it's crazy when you think about it, though, isn't it? It's like, how can that be possible? Weather systems, you know, it sounds artificial to start off with. A system, you know, they have forecasting, they predict the weather. Back in the day, that would be done for witchcraft and sorcery, for predicting the weather. You know, and how many years have people in the community fought over people talking about how the system is geoengineered, and they're actually going out paying for it now, you know, in different countries to get some rain and different things. It's like, you know, that's what people have been saying for many, many years. But it's just trippy if you think about it, how you can have like daylight and the nighttime like within feet of each other, and like all these time zones. It's like you can get thousands of miles on one time zone, and that does not make sense. You know, even if you think about it, if you're on a spinny thing or, you know, whatever, it doesn't make sense. And, you know, we all talk about the sun, and you talked about the sun, and we're always told it's local. That doesn't make sense if it's just one, you know, to have different temperatures, because that's what they say the sun is usually locally is used, isn't it, to trigger the electromagnetic, get the molecules, you know, going, and that creates heat. it just everything just seems far-fetched when you really sit down and think of just the basic things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially with,
yeah, go on, London.
I was just going to say, especially with sometimes the heat. Like, I wonder if it's depending on like what materials you may have beneath your terrain where you are at the moment. I wonder if the heat comes into effect, like a bit of like alchemy, so to speak. I wonder if we're on a plane that is riddled with alchemy, and maybe the sun could be manifesting something. I don't know, warming something up to some degree.
Yeah, the different minerals in the earth reacting with its environment.
Because that's what they say about ghosts and different things, don't they? Like the composition of the rock. Some rock, different types of rock amplify different types of energy.
Yeah. Well, crystals, the amount of different things that the different crystals can do for energy and frequency.
Yeah.
It's just deep when you're thinking about it, isn't it? I like trying to think of things in the head, like, wow, that's what I do on one of these shows is I start daydreaming. They're like, oh, that's a good idea for a topic, and I'm going through scenarios in my head, but just looking at the weather systems, especially when you're talking about if we're in a cave or what you believe in, it makes more sense. You're in an enclosed system, And I think I was talking to Sam about that, wasn't I? Like about wind, and it's like, what's the point of hurricanes? And I was just using it because if we're in an enclosed system, the hurricanes or the wind, it's just using it as a turbine to circulate the air to keep it more,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the chat that I was with Kay and Jacob, we were just having before I jumped on with Paul. I can't remember why. I mean, Kay got onto caving, talking about caves. I think it's claustrophobia. But you get weather systems in large cave systems, don't you?
Yeah. Ecosystems.
That's a good point.
Because that's always what draw me to it. But when you see the guy with what they call it, is it a terrarium? The glass jars.
Terrarium, yeah.
They never need to open them. It keeps itself self-sufficient. Condensation drips and things. It's just similar to what I envisage on a grander scale.
Yeah, that's a great. Are you talking about the Asian fellow that's got that massive aquarium that he does?
No, I just saw like an old meme, like years ago, like people were just passing around, like.
Yeah.
Well, there's a gentleman on YouTube that's got. We're talking massive. They're like almost the size of a room. These aquariums that he puts together with different animals, obviously living that, but them in themselves have different sort of like weather systems within them. And that's an enclosed system, isn't it?
Yeah. They're beautiful though, aren't they? If you think about them, just looking at them here. That was the one that the meme I saw. Like
And
people were passing
some
around.
of them aren't open.
That meme I saw. Like
right,
that's
I see.
one.
Yeah, one of the. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And they haven't been open for a long time, apparently.
Yeah, this fella's one. They're massive. They're like almost the size of a room, like your box room, Paul. And yeah, it's quite amazing when they're fascinating to watch actually. How it, even though it's only in a small enclosed area, how they find their own way of living within the environment. They just go back to nature and back to basics. Yeah, nature's nature in itself, isn't it? It's fascinating. Fascinating. Like we was talking about code the other day in your chat, London, how it all basically breaks back down into code. Fascinating.
Yeah.
If anyone's interested in what we just mentioned, me and Sam appeared on London's channel the other night, so please go check it out if you've not subscribed to London. We just had a good chat for a good hour and a half, so check it out.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Oh yeah, thanks for coming over again, guys. That was brilliant. I like to have open-minded conversations or dialogue, so salutes to that, man. Brilliant.
Yeah, I'll get my dinner done beforehand next time.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
it'd be eating all sorts with Sam. So we just done the weather quickly. You know, us Brits have a thing for it. Shows you're getting older when you start talking about the weather. It really, really does. You hear all the old timies saying, "Oh, look at the weather. We want it hot, and then when it's hot, oh, we want it raining." So we're getting to that stage of our development. You know, we're getting more grey hairs. London's not, but I am. So we're talking about the weather. So we're going to go on to something, and we'll keep coming back to everything because we don't plan on having like a list that we're going down. And remember, guys, if you want to ask any of the guys any questions until we do a live, because we'll just mix this up, please put questions in the comments and we'll try and answer them in different spaces. But just before we go to London with a little bit of his next topic, I want to a light-hearted show you something. Let me just get it ready. This is because Sam was he accidentally sent me this because he went on a little holiday up north, and
Nice.
I want to share this with everyone in this because this is the sort of thing he does. You know, what a guy! I don't know how he can do it. So if you just go to my notes here,
Think of the travel miles, Paul.
definitely. And here it is. It's just this is the kind of guy he is. So he's going around Lancashire naked with a gimp mask. I mean, he's got so confident. He said there's a guy running around wearing a gimp mask, and that's all he's wearing. And it's going strong in
I've ditched the thong.
Lancashire.
Ditch the thong.
There you go. It's called the Lytham Gimp. Police still investigating naked masked man. So he's walking around. You can just see from the images. He's walking around naked, apart from a gimp mask. Tell you what, that's a brave dude, Sam. You know, he's not scared of showing his bits. He's letting it hang proud.
It's cold up there and all.
I know. It was terrible. He was like messaging me nice. Where are you, Paul? He said, I'm out for a little jog. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, I've got lost. So that's some of the things that's happening locally up north. I thought it was rather funny, and we, you know, to change the topics around. But we're going to get onto a topic now, what London wants to talk about. So I'll stop sharing the screen, and I'll get back to the stream. I just thought that was hilarious. Like, why would you just go around? He's enjoying himself.
Indeed. Hey, you can't fault a person for enjoying themselves.
No.
You can only join in with them, eh?
He's running like a wild stallion.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Say no more.
So, one of the topics I wanted to introduce today, right, is something that sparked my interest. Is because I've heard you mention it a few times, Paul. Would be the curious course of the rock, right? Now, when I hear of rock, so many things come to mind, right? Whether statues or just normal formations of rock, right? But one of the things that come to mind is a cave, right? When we speak about the cave, or when you actually speak about the cave, it makes me think of rock. And, you know, without a rock, there is no cave. And without the cave, there is no rock, so to speak, right? But where does rock actually come from? I know they give us a different scientific method of how it got produced and everything. You know, most of it is through lava, you know, so on and so forth. When things solidify, it turns into rock and stuff. But maybe there's, you know, a different meaning behind the rock. Right? But when I hear the rock as well, I think of this realm, right? And especially with some of the stuff that they show us. Like, we don't really know what Earth is, right? But some of the descriptions that they give us when it comes to this Earth, there's a big giant rock that's involved, right? There's a big giant rock. And let me show you what I'm with. Give me a second. there's a big giant rock that's involved, and some of the phrases that they've used over the time, you know, third rock from the sun and things like this, right? So I'm saying there's rock involved somewhere. But let me just share my screen if I can.
Right. Let's see if I know how to do it on my end.
Don't ask. Let's see if this will do. Let's do window. Boom.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is it up on your side?
It is, yep.
Cool. Now, one of these descriptions here, you know, we can see a rock right in the middle of this place. Right now, this map is out here for the public domain. Anyone can look at it. It's not something that London's made up and trying to pass it off as my own. Right? I think it's Mercator's map.
Yeah.
Right. Now, in this map, there seems to be a rock right in the center, right, as well as the land that goes around the rock. Some people say it's a magnetic rock or black rock, or the how would you call it? Something to do with the plasma events. I've also heard something like that. I can't really speak too much on that because I'm not too in depth on that. But there's so many things when I hear of the rock, you know. But this rock happens to be at the center of something. Is it at the center of creation or a realm? But it's at the center of something, especially on this map here. Now, these people drew what they possibly saw, right? Especially when it comes to map making and these things. The other day, I dropped the Final Experiment 3, and you know, Giovanni and these other people, they created a moon map or a depiction of the moon, which was, in my opinion, correct down to the finest detail. You can go back and look now at the maps. Everything seems to match up with the moon and the map that they made. But there also was like a lady's head on this map, right? Whether it was the engraver's wife, they said, or Giovanni's wife, whoever put that map there, or the lady's head on the moon. But when these people make their maps and make their illustrations, are they trying to hide something? Are they trying to show us something? Or is it none of the above, right? Is it none of the above? Now, why would they draw these things on these maps? Maybe these things was present in the time. That's why they drew these things on these maps, right? But the rock there in the center, I have a funny feeling there's more to do with the rock than we've been told. Now, like I said, every time this realm seems to present itself to us, there's a rock involved, right? Let me go back over to here now. Give me a second.
The first thing that comes to mind just looking at that map is, so the maps today are really so you can have a look where you're going to go on holiday, whereas these maps were used for navigation, and they were life or death if they weren't correct.
What's always intrigued me though, Sam, in London, is when I would research this, because I've done a video on this a long time ago, if that information I received is Mercator, who made the map, he never left his house or his office.
Okay.
So he got someone to do this for him. Just for instance, I'm not saying it's him, but you know, Brendan the Navigator or Brendan, you know, different people like that did the job for these guys to go around the realm doing the maps. But they just put their name to it, you know, like, oh, I'll send you, hey, London, you go map this for me, and then it's still the guy's map. But yeah, he never left. And what's intriguing is he was also a friend of John Dee's.
No, interesting.
Yeah, the
fellas.
What's that, London?
Yeah, the fellas, the Rockefellers.
No, John Dee. You know John Dee. He was a court wizard of the Queen. You know, 007. The bonds come from him. You know, that was his little thing.
He was the original 007,
thing on it. But yeah, the Blackrock, or in Latin, Rupus Negra.
Yeah,
you know, that's why we was talking about the Blackrock last week. But I've got a totally different standpoint of view on this to show you, like when you showed your presentation, because it's intriguing, because it all connects. It really does all connect. And what I found was a wow last week is if I just find it first before.
Yeah.
It was crazy because we was only talking about it last week, us three in this, right? And let me just share. Where's it gone? Sure. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It was like, here's that thing again when we're talking about what we're doing here. Do we contribute to the system, you know, through thought? And have a look at this. We was only talking about Blackstone and Blackrock last week.
Blackstone executive killed in Moot. Stab? What? Shooting? Yeah, embodied the best. Okay.
And what's so funny is it's like it's from an article or paper called PX11. It's funny, I know that because in New York,
Ooh. PX11.
You know, so,
Hold on. We can't gloss over that. Hold on a second. PX11. The X itself is significant, but the 11. Come on. I know we got some stuff on the 11. That's the doors, the Janice.
yeah, you see. And because obviously, it's sort of showing that, like the state, New York is the 11th state, so it's always fascinated me looking at New York because of that. And we was only talking about Blackstone, and well, Sam was, because me and you was talking about Black Rock, and Sam said, "Oh, what about Blackstone?" And that happened just days before that the guy got done. It's just crazy, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Is that the guy Paul that walked in with a automatic rifle, like hanging down? There's pictures of him walking in beforehand with an automatic rifle. If that's the same one, see, I saw a video today by I can't think of his name, the guy that does Meru World YouTube channel. He was showing that the images from inside of that in the foyer, where the guy that was doing the shootings lying down dead, they're AI images. So what's going on there with all that story? Is that even real?
So, I mean, yeah, you never know what's real when it comes to these stories, especially with the AI stuff. Like, AI is running rampant.
You don't know, innit?
It's running rampant, that AI. But yes, with the Rock now, right? When they give us a description of this realm as well, right? I always go back to this one here, right? You got the Rock that is present, right? But on the Rock, it's labeled Earth, right? Not a flat plane, right? But a rock, right? Now, going back to what we was looking at with the Mercator map, there was a rock present, right? And then with that term they used, third rock from the sun, right? Third rock from the sun. What do they mean by that? The third rock from the sun. Okay, they're talking about Earth, apparently. Apparently they're talking about Earth, the third rock from the sun. But why rock of all things? Why the third rock? Why not the third planet? Right? That made me think of the movie The Third Rock from the Sun. And these people's meant to be from off this planet, right? From off this planet. But it's wild when I think of aliens or how you call it, interdimensional beings and all of these things. Maybe they're with us. You don't have to travel out, right? They're already with us. But the rock part is quite interesting, because even when you look at some of these, the names, right, of stuff that we use with the terminologies of space and these things, right? Like Allen, I was looking at the Van Allen belts the other day, and Allen down here, right, is a Celtic surname, but it also means little rock, right? Little rock, like the Van Allen belts. I spoke about the Van Allen belts, and I've showed how it could just be a refraction. When they show you the Van Allen belts, it's almost going out like an onion ring, right? But almost like a refraction type, a glass or a lens or a rock crystal of some type, right? So you've got the little rock that ties in with the Van Allen belts, right? And then you'd also have the Ben stone. When I looked into the Ben, right, the Ben stone, Ben meaning sun, right? But what sun could they be talking about? You know, is it the SON or the SUN? Now, when I thought of the Ben stone, I was thinking of light being trapped, like a conductor, so to speak, right? Rocks, you can use rocks to conduct as well, depending what type of rock it is and the material you use. But just the word rock itself is quite interesting, you know, it ties in with a lot of stuff in this realm, you know, especially stone, rock, all of these things, the solid stuff. Where do they even come from, right? I found that quite interesting with the black rock. Also, these illustrations, you get the rock being the center. Where did that other one go? Sorry, excuse me. Right here. The rock seems to be present. The rock seems to be present in everything we look at, right? The rock is there, like it's a part of the construct of rock. Could we be living in a rock or on a rock, or is that another terminology for the cave? Right? Is that another word for the cave, the rock? So I would like to know what's your thoughts on that. The rock. How does that play a part of Earth? Why is there always a rock? And not only the rock, it's a mound at that. A steep hill. Right?
Go, I'll let you go first, Sam, if you want.
Well, with this, so with space, for instance, my mate Sute, he showed me on a P900 videos that they're taken not only of the sun but of the stars at night, and just with the P900, it's not that expensive equipment. You only have to see it once just to realise that you're just being told utter bullshit. Basically, you know, these things aren't what you're being told they are, and they look more like a crystal that's got light shimmering off of it, which is again like ties in with the cave ceiling, doesn't it? You know, this sort of theory on where we actually are in this realm that we're experiencing. You going, Paul?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find images. I mean, this is like a crystal. I showed it in videos before, but it's so fascinating. Can you see?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's like that.
Yeah.
I've seen
like the sky.
Yeah. Clouds on fire.
So, and it looks like a sun. And I mean, the ancients talked about the sun being a focusing crystal. And that just makes sense. It's focusing the electromagnetic waves to a direction, a bit like a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
You know,
that looks like what going back to weather, what a lot of let's call it Earth for now, what a lot of the Earth is looking like with the wildfires and all the different stuff that's going on. The Pacific Ring is going mental at the moment, not only causing earthquakes, which is causing tsunamis, but it's also possibly setting off a lot of volcanoes around that area as well. So a hell of a lot going on at the moment.
Yeah, but hold on, Paul. What did you just say there? The ancients used to speak. Do that again, please. Say that again. That was interesting.
Oh yeah, the ancients, because obviously I've done videos on crystals and showing you how they're in a part of us and around us, and I'll get into a little bit on that. But the ancients, I don't know how many people, but the ancients, philosophers, scientists, whatever at the time, said the sun was a focusing crystal. So it used to focus the heat, the rays, whatever you want on a specific location. And that always just reminds me of like a magnifying type of effect, you know. And if you think about it, Enoch was talking about portals and different things, and I've talked about, and it's even in the Bible, isn't it? Like the firmament is, I've said for over 10 years, it is liquid crystal of being in a cave. It's a cave wall, and you know things can focus in the heat like that, and it's projecting an image like that. It's projecting. You can go holodeck or whatever you want, but you saw it, the picture of the sun, like sometimes on planes, and half the time you don't know if it's real or not. But I've seen that many of them that the sun is like just bobbing around in the in the clouds like that. And you think about it, doesn't matter how big the sun is, doesn't matter how big it is, it should vanish from your sight the further you get away, and you shouldn't see things like this. It doesn't matter if it's millions of miles long. You can just be the perspective of an ant next to something the equivalent, and the ant walk away, and it'll soon go out of its line of sight. You know, so these things shouldn't happen. So it's something that's happening, like with this rock. And like I said, I'll share a few things. I'll put some timestamps down. I just want to get it ready so we don't have to see me half an hour taking it through. But we'll start with this one first. I'll get it ready. So there it goes. Because it so happens, because like I said, London, you make so many content and you're like, I forgot I made that. It's like, how professional of you. You're like, how can you forget videos like this? And it's crazy. So I'll just trying to think which one's the shirt now. Oh, there it is. You can tell me I'm not professional.
Give me a sec.
So there we go. So we'll start and I'll show you. I'll find it. I won't play it all. I've time stamped it. So basically it's about Mount Meru. So I did a video on Mount Meru. It's on me. It's on my list. You know, you can see it. So I'm just gonna get to the point where I want to talk about.
I remember this one actually now.
Yeah, because I talk about it being all the things that everyone's mentioned, even the things and different cultures that believe in it. But there was some point that I wanted to share because I thought it was prevalent. Now, when London was talking about this, I was just theorizing how this connected. So I think this is it. Am I up to it? Let me just press play. Let's see.
So now remember, Mount Meru is the centre of the universe, or to others, the centre of this realm, according to what Mark and the theories they actually believe. So it's important. It's spiritual, physical, metaphysical. Well, you keen-eyed flockers, and there is some of you, a lot of you actually, would have seen Blackrock in the intro. Now you've got to be thinking, what the hell is he putting Blackrock in this for? Well, some of you may be aware again or not, Blackrock is one of the most influential investment firms in the world. They are at the centre of everything, and hence when I'm saying centre, because it's talking about Mount Meru being the centre, and Blackrock is the centre of everything. You've only got to briefly look into it and you can see how they reach. I mean, there's just an image of a black rock to show you behind the name Blackrock. That's a little clue. So you might be thinking, where am I going with this? And well, you'd be right. Anyway, so Mount Meru has another name, and that other name is Rupes Nigra, which means black rock.
Right, I don't think this is it. Let me just move it forward. This is a little bit of a description on it, guys.
Centre of this realm, and then obviously in them faiths, it's the centre of the universe as well. Now, the idea came from a lost work titled Inventio Fortunata, and the island featured maps for the 16th and 17th century, so again influential, including those of Gerardus or Mercator, who you've seen on the screen. So Mercator described the island in the 1577 letter to John Dee, again the Great Vowel Shift period. And I just put an image of the letter itself. You can go research it. And here's the letter now. Well, a part of it, obviously, it's like, you know, all the pages. So it talks about, in the midst of the four countries is a whirlpool into which the empty with four indrawing seas which divide the north, and the water rushes around and descends into the earth, just as if one were pouring it through a filter funnel. It is 4 degrees wide on every side of the pole, that is to say 8 degrees altogether, except that right under the pole there lies a bird rock in the midst of the sea. Its circumference is almost 33 French miles, and it is all of a magnetic stone. And obviously this was talked about Jacobus Canoiman, and this was years ago. So you can just see the significance of it. They're talking about a magnetic island at the centre of this realm, and that is why it all come.
Can everyone hear it, by the way? I forgot to ask.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
I should have had, like, I had premonitions of no one seeing nothing or hearing, so I'll just carry on.
Tell me you're not intrigued. You're not especially intrigued. And looking at how I'm looking at it, is this where Blackrock's got? That's real.
So that intrigued me many years ago. It's 33 French miles. Obviously, you got 33 degrees of Masons, so you have that tie-in. And obviously, Masons, what's a primarily material that they work with? Stone. You know, so you got straight away. So let me just find out something I was going to get into. This is the intriguing bit. Now, you know about number 11, don't we? People that's watching. If you're not, do want to check out my realm of 11. But this is a wow to me. So this is intriguing. So I'll show you this.
Carbon, and also it can be clear in diamond form. But as you can see, carbon, it's periodic table, and obviously defends 666. But look at carbon. It's periodic table number and its element weight. Look, 6 and 1 add 2 add 1 add 1 is 11.
Turn up a touch, Paul, if you can.
11 again.
So can you see carbon in the table, atomic table, and its weight all add to 11? Again, are we supposed to be telling us this is a coincidence? And we are supposed to be carbon-based life. So we are again walking sticks of 11.
Yeah, walking portals, walking openings, like we are opening gates, so to speak. Right. This is why I said to the other day, I was on Karen B's stream the other day, and I told her, if we look at each other, we are the model, we are the prototype, we are Earth, so to speak, we are the universe, so to speak.
So London, have a check this out. This is my old video, and this is, I just thought it was weird and could it be an anomaly? I basically talk about when you see this 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons as being carbon-based, as being like a map. Because if you put that on Mercator map, it fits. Now, I can show you now if you can just move the screen. Can I move that off? Oh, come on, get off the screen. All right, let's keep backing up. So you can see with my marker now, my little finger, these represent the rivers. That fits in that little niche there. Yeah. 100%. That fits in that river. Yeah. So all these fit in the base of the river, and that one at the bottom fits in that little nook there. And obviously the rest of the atoms and stuff are in the Blackrock. I just found that fascinating that it fits into this, and we are carbon. They say we're carbon, basically life forms, which is Blackrock. And could it be the center of us? So that was one of the things of the video that I found fascinating. Like, you know, just because, how is that possible? Because everyone says it, don't they? If you're into spiritual, they always say, hey, we're the center of the universe. And then you got people talking about the Blackrock being the center of the universe or the center of this realm. Well, I've just showed you that we are carbon neutral. We are Blackrock. And could it be that we are indeed center? And there's other things that you were talking about. Rock, it inspires me over the years. We've talked about how, do you know when the Freemasons have the symbol of the set and compass? And I've showed you that many times, how both of them with the degrees adds to 11. So they're showing you the angles are 11. But another word for Earth is geode. And we all know what a geode looks like. So that's why I was theorizing in one video, could the Earth, this realm, we be living in a geode? And you saw the geode looks like stars and different things. And these are all in the videos that I've made. So could they be referencing that the G in the setting compass, the clefts of the roof are 11 degrees and we're in a geode? What's your thought, guys?
Yeah, I mean, the rock, it plays a big part in this. Exactly, it plays a big part, right? And something you said about the ancients believing this realm to be a rock or a crystal that focus light on us. Was it something along the lines like that?
Yeah, that's what they were saying. The sun was focusing the rays, focusing crystals.
Now, that's quite interesting because
I don't think it was Archimedes. He was one of them because he did the stuff with the mirrors
parabolic
and shields, lights on the the ships.
The parabolic lens, exactly. The parabolic. Now, all of that stuff is in the eye. Right? You got a parabolic lens, which would be the corona itself. Right now, the focus and light part, what you spoke about, that reminds me of the lens. Right, they speak about the lens, and there was another thing that I wanted to bring to your attention. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay, where are we? We are. Hold on here a second. I was connected to what I was looking at the other day, right? Now, this is the seal for their Antarctic expedition, right, to the south. But when I was looking at the New Swabian, and I also tied it in with the honeycomb, right, being the lens and the matrix. But I also said this was upside down, right? It looked like it was an eye upside down, right? I tied it into the eye being upside down. Which to me, it kind of mirrors the eye being upside down, right? Now, like I said, the lens would be a focus point, right? Focusing. And if you look how it's upside down now, right, Paul? We'll go back to here. It presents itself upside down. But there was also somebody else who was hung upside down, right? Apparently. I think it was Peter. Right? One of the biblical figures. Peter was hung upside down, right? Now, when I look at the eye and the sigil that is placed upside down, that means the lens would be upside down, right? The rock would be upside down. So it made me think, okay, let's go and have a look at what
and you know where St. Peter was hanged upside down, don't you?
I don't know why he was hung upside down.
No,
do you know
where his location? You know where he was, don't you?
Oh no! Where was his location, Paul?
Janiculum Hill, which is named after a certain god called Janice.
Woo! Come on, okay.
Yeah, I put that many moons ago in one of my old videos. That's just what, because I got something on Peter in a minute. Strangely enough, you coincided, and you'll see why Peter is important.
I love it. See, you've got something on Paul with Peter. Brilliant. Now look, rock again, Paul. Everything translates to rock.
Yeah. And I've done a video on that. That's what I forgot over a year ago. And it'll blow your mind.
See? Now, Peter was hung upside down, just like the sigil, the eye, right? The lens is hung upside down. Now, if we're speaking about the rock, we're speaking about the lens. Stone, right? One of the, a phrase what they use, being a crystal, a stone. Right? Now, that is considered to be like you see this sign right here with the wings and the disc here. This is meant to, on one of the other carvings on the walls of Egypt. This is known as a weapon, right? They call it the sun disc or the weapon disc, something along the lines, right?
Yeah. that symbol of the two snakes, I can't pronounce its benefic name, but if you look at it straight away, it's something I've just been shown. I've showed this in videos anyway, a long time ago. Right? The first snake, what number does that represent? Number 1.
Okay, 1. Okay.
Yeah. In the middle, 0.
I got you.
11. And that's
Yeah,
what I did a video a long time ago on it, because the god of that symbol is associated with Janice, being Janice, because he has 2 heads. And that is just, again, the 101 symbol of this realm, that, if you remember in my description, 2 poles with the electric current circling inside the 101.
And this ties into the chat we had about consciousness last night. The fact that 101 is basically code. It's the code of the consciousness that we're experiencing.
Yeah, I was trying to find that old video so I can just share the name with, because I can't remember half of the stuff that I've done. I'll try and go down, but yeah, it's just always so funny because I've got stuff ready and you're talking about the things that I'm going to show. It's brilliant. You couldn't plan it any better.
And exactly. So what we were talking about last night, if we're going, that quote I said when I had that out-of-body experience, we are all the one true creator, subjectively experiencing itself to every single outcome, which in itself is eternal. Why on earth would we bother creating space, for instance? All that empty, unused data. You'd, being a decent coder, like we was talking about, you'd make everything as small as possible. You just wouldn't have all that wasted space, would you?
Yeah.
Nothing going on.
We might think it was wasted, but it might actually have a purpose.
Very true.
Yeah, you know what I mean? The space has a purpose. When you think of space, you think of all the twinkly stars up above, Jean-Luc Picard running through it. But space is in us. You even mentioned that last week. Trillions of cells, and we're just basically empty space. So all that space is there for a reason. Whether it's other realities, other realms, you name it. I just don't know. Above my pay grade, but I find it fascinating when we're talking about these rocks and different things. And when London's finished, I'll show you what I did on it, and I can't believe I forgot about it. But that just shows you how much content we just put out. You can't think of every theory. That's why we save all these videos so we can go back to it.
True, very true, very true. So, like I was saying, there's a connection with the rock.
Yeah.
The word rock and stone and the realm, right? When they present the realm to us, there seems to be a rock that's involved, right? As you can see with where's it gone? Even on the Mercator maps, right? There's a rock that's involved.
Yeah.
Now, why isn't this labeled Earth, right? But over on here, excuse me, where's it gone? The mound is labeled Earth, right? The mound is labeled Earth on this. Not only the mound, the rock in the water, right? Even when I think of the rock, I think of stuff like the Rock of Gibraltar and things like this,
Yeah, where I was born.
Okay, brilliant. I've been there once. I got mates who live over there, but I had no idea he was born over there, Paul.
Yeah.
Nice, brilliant.
So I'm technically born on the rock, technically as well.
And then look, even this word Plymouth Rock, right? We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. Like, there's phrases and things to do with a rock, right? And I'll leave that there for now. I'll let you.
You just have to look at that. That means you just put on though with Earth, and you just say it's geode, and then you're laughing. Right, let me share the screen because you'll understand why Peter's prevalent. I mean, the reason I've been researching Janice for a long time, because he goes by the name Janice Peter, father. It's interwoven. So let me just. I always forget to share the screen on this thing. I don't know. So let's go on. Entire screen, yes. get the thing up. And this is a video. It's called How Did I Miss This?
Mm-hmm.
So basically get talking about, this was fascinating. This is what I really got into. You know, it's a story about how the word story became, like, if you think of stories in America, you go different levels of, floor 1, 2, and 3 that we say in the UK. America call it stories, but that's where the actual word story, like a storybook, comes from. People use windows to see the world, and that's how you get the word story from that.
So, I like that. That's cold. That's cold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, you can see the word interpreter. That's what we're all doing. If you're doing it orally, like that we're doing, we're an interpreter. We're passing information on that we learn, and we're using our mouths. So it's an interpreter. Interpreter is a Peter, right? A translator translates it in text form. So we're all interpreters, and this is where the word comes from. And this is what it actually shattered me out. And I got it off this website, and I'll start it. Here we go. Oh, it won't actually start where I want it. We'll have to start there.
Was in Rome 2,000 years BC. So somebody, when they're doing this information,
could you turn it up a little bit, Paul?
Yeah, about to say that.
Let me
hit hide on that thing. Hit hide. Don't press stop sharing. Just hit hide. Yeah, there you go.
All right. I'll go to my volume because I think it'll go off that, won't it? I think it goes off my volume, doesn't it?
I'm not even too sure, to be honest.
Teething problems, people. It's only second time we've done this. We're getting used to what's going on.
There you go. Let's see if this works. Does this any better?
Call me out, but it blew me away. So, who was the first?
That's better, right?
Yeah, I can hear a bit more. See if there's any more volume there.
You want it a bit more?
What about to the right? You see to the right of your thing, to the where you've got screening and everything. I can see the volume. Keep down to the right, all the way to the right of the screen. Yeah, up. See the volume there?
Oh, yeah. There.
Yeah.
Oh, it's already up to 100. Okay. I'll change it on my thing. It might just be on my sound. See, we're professional here, guys.
This is it. We've got to iron it all out.
There we go. That'll be better. Here we go.
His successors called. The history of ancient religion reveals the plain truth about the original God of Rome. The truth about the real successors is now clear to us, but hidden to the world. Here is what history shows us of the original Peter of Rome. The truth is startling. The Bible records that in the earliest ages, right after the flood of Noah, men began to rebel against the teachings of God. They began to build cities, found religions, bringing idolarities. Pagan temples were erected. Now, as I've showed you in many videos from old books, Janice, who is a Peter, taught humans to build cities, walled cities. He taught them how to live under law and religion, and he's known as Noah. This is going to be a long one. And this talks about pagan temples were erected, the Tower of Babel came on the scene. All of these things started within the first 200 years of the flood. Pagan gods called Peters. Surprising as it may sound, it is well-known fact among students of ancient religion that the chief pagan gods worshipped in the early civilizations were generally known by the name Peter. It is also known that the priests of those heathen gods were also called Peters. The same name in one form or was even applied to the pagan temples consecrated to the gods, to those gods. Notice what Brian in his work Ancient Mythology says, not only the gods, but the Hierophanti, special priests, temples, and those priests in particular were occupied in the celebration of mysteries were called Peters or Petras. Let me just move that across because I've had to enlarge it so some of you can read along. There we go. We're called Patras, which is obviously in regard to Peter. This is significant. The word patri or Peter, however you want to pronounce it, is the same as Pator or Peter in the meaning and pronunciation. Brian continues, patri was undoubtedly a religious term, the same as Petor and Patora. The ancient pagan gods, the priests who were the ministers and the sacred sanctuaries, their temples, were all called Peters or Petors or Peters. And it's funny that Tor's in it because Tor means door.
So there you go, guys. I'll just stop it for there because I want to talk a little bit about a few things.
Mm-hmm.
Stop the screen if I can. Why is it not letting me stop it? Come on, Paul. It's not letting me stop the screen. There we go. So I'll turn it down on my side. So there you go, guys. Can you hear me again now?
Yeah, 1-1.
So you can just see how prevalent you were talking about Peter, Saint Peter. They were all called Peters. All the gods, all the important people were called Peters. They were all called. So they were all called Peters, which means rock. So you can see how it blew my mind when I found that out last year. That whoa, they're all called Peters, and we are interpreting information that we have seen. So we're acting as Peter. You, London, are a paterfamilias. You are the head of the family, the father, pater, Peter. You're a Peter. I'm a Peter. And I don't think Sam's got any children. He might have, I don't know. He's kept quiet on it. So
not that I know about.
Not he knows about, but you can see the excitement in me that we're all Peters, and it means the rock. The church built on top of Peter, on top of Peter, So that is one meaning of it. So when you talk about St. Peter, and obviously from my research anyway, in the old videos, I found old books saying that Peter was based on Janice. Now, you know why? Because he was an interpreter and he was a Peter, hence his name, Ionos Peter, the father. So all these people that were in important positions were called Peters. So it's a mind blowing. Why are they all called the rock? Why is everything based on the rock?
Yes,
that's what you got to think about. So you can think about any other theory that you have, but it ties in with we're on a rock or in a rock. From my standpoint of view, anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like we spoke about, rock, cave, rock, right? It's all there. I don't know how it's going to be arranged, but it's all there. There's a rock that plays a part in this, right? And I showed you guys earlier on with the let's go with the flat earth map. They show you the flat earth, right? So the flat earth model, not map, but the flat earth model with a dome and then a rock in the middle, but it's labeled earth. The earth is labeled rock. Sorry, the rock is labeled earth.
Yeah.
Not four planes, not the four planes, but the rock, right? That's something that needs to be addressed. And
you could even say, London, I've heard it talk about it being a geode. That's what means earth. But obviously, an old spelling of earth, anagram means heart. So even if it's a heart and it's in the center, it's in the center. And this is something else that I had in that Mount Meru video, but I wanted to show it instead of basically watching an old video because it all happens. But you can see what Mount Meru, and I think someone pointed this out to me. That's what I say in the video. So have a look at this. So that's what you just been talking about and showing. I did before, and you showing you about Mercator. So carbon, remember the Blackrock? I said it was in the center of us. It's us. Now have a look at this anagram. Meru anagrams mean you are me.
Yeah, backwards as well.
So in it is you are me. you are the Black Rock, or you are in the rock. So
What come to my mind, Paul, was what you and London were just talking about. The fact that Peter, being the father, he's like the macro of this. What have they been doing in the Western society over the last 10, 15, 20 years almost? Breaking down the family unit, the rock, the love.
The rock, and this is what this is on in the video, but it'd be quicker me reading it out. So it's the Peter god, Janice, was to the ancient Romans the keeper of the gates of heaven and earth. He is represented with a key in one hand and emblematic of his presiding over gates and highways. How shocking the pagan Romans were calling the Janice Peter hundreds of years before the birth of the apostles Peter. It was the Janice who was in charge of the pearly gates. The very word Janice means gates. That is the one in charge of the gates. The classical manual continues. Ovid speaks of him, Janice, in the first book of Fasti. His face is double to denote his equal empire over the heavens and the earth. Does not the Pope claim the same power today? And all things are open and shut to him as well. So that just talked about basically a little bit about Janice as being one of the Peters of Rome. And it goes into it, Janice Peter. So you can just see how, wow, I was finding this information that you don't look at it that way. I didn't look at it that way. And I've been researching Janice for a long time. And even saying his name, Peter, and all these things. And then I find that, and that's what it must have given me the impetus to carry on to look into the caves, where all the gods and all the important people, are titled Peter. How crazy is that, And I've not said anything to London. He wanted to talk about rocks, but I didn't know he was going to mention Peter. Exactly. And I had all that ready just to show you how important the rock is, And even in one of the videos, can't remember which one it was.
What are you looking for? What I was saying earlier, I was talking to Kay. We was talking about caves. I was just popped into my mind. The ones near me that are really famous, called Cathedral Caverns. And if that doesn't tie into the church, I don't know what does. Cathedral Caverns, and they're like world famous.
Yeah, it's all there, man. It's all there. The caves, the caverns, the cathedrals, But there's something else you said, Paul, right? When you mentioned Peter or Pator, right? You mentioned Pator.
Yeah.
Now, Tor again, right?
Yeah.
When we break that down, right, it's giving us something, right? But let me show you, because it ties into everything what we just was been speaking about, bro. I kid you not, right? Tie into the lens, everything.
Oops, sorry, I'll just add it to. I'm just finding something ready for us to show you.
Show you. Now, a hill or a rock peak, bro.
Yeah.
It's there. I ain't making shit up. You ain't making shit up. It's all there for the taking.
And in German, it means door.
Come on. What? I mean, look, could they be thinking about something like, I don't know, entrances like Tor Hill into the mountain, right? A doorway to the underworld, out of it. You understand? It's all there, right? It's all there. We like I said, look, it's there. Look, let me press that again for you, folks. Tor lens, the two like Taurus field, right? It's everything's there.
Yeah.
Right.
Something I've done a lot of work on is the Tor and the Taurus field in regard to that scenario.
Now look, check me out. I ain't finished yet, my brother. Look, Tor perhaps in Celtic origin relates to Welsh Tor belly. Right now, I've already showed you folks that there's a part in the eye that which is called the belly, which would be part of the muscle regions, right? Which controls the lens in these books. Excuse me. Right. So It's all there. The hill, the lens, the rock, the mountain, the cave, Peter, upside down, right? The head of the household, Godhead. It's all there. We've made wild connections in the last few weeks, right? Especially with what I've been presenting, what Paul's been presenting, and what other content creators have been presenting. Right? It's something to do with the rock, the cave, this whole system, concave, everything, especially the eye as well. Right? But the talk, that's kind of interesting to me. Talk, right? Once again, that means rock or the hills. Right? Let's press that again. Right? P Tor, the rock, the hills, the mounds, the lens, the crystal line. And I land that right there.
Have you done the etymology of just PE, Paul? I can't think what that means. Like, as in P Tor.
Probably have.
I can't think what it. I know you have, but I can't think what it is.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I've done so much. I can't remember what I did last week. You know what I mean? It's crazy. People think, how can you forget? But there's just so much information. There you go.
One bit of information leads you to another bit of information.
Yeah, it means nature.
Yeah.
Natural.
Natural rock.
See, they're all in the old videos. Like I said, that video was how did I miss this? So you can understand me researching for years and then coming across that website that he included in that video, and I'm like, how did I miss this about Peter's? And obviously, because I've been doing stuff on the Taurus field, showing at the Taurus door, rock, all that, and I'm like, how did I miss this? And it was like an epiphany. So from there, I've gone on like in the year to do stuff on the cave, and this is just to go with our rocks and the 11s that I've been showing you. This is, I'll just share the screen now and show you in that video.
Yeah, brilliant connections, Paul and Sam.
So one's dog.
Sorry, yeah.
That adds to, yes, 11. And that Temple Mount,
So the Temple Mount, which is based on the rock, it has 11 entrances. 10 for Muslims, 1 for tourists. So it has 11 entrances. And there's some other things on it now.
that adds to, yes, 11. And that Temple Mount, the rock, is covering the foundation stone, the stone. And near the Holy of Holies is the Wailing Wall. It has 11 letters and took 11 years to build. We're seeing a pattern, aren't we? The Holy Sepulchre contains the stone of Upton, the rock that Jesus' body was prepared for burial. Again, emphasizing on the rock, the stone. And in that building,
where was that?
Calvary.
What's that?
Where was that picture with the people going around that rock? Where was it? That isn't Mecca, is it?
No, that's the Holy Sepulchre. And all this on the rock, where this is, where Jesus is being said to lay, he's laid. I'll go in about the Mecca as well in this little short clip, but have a watch.
Golgotha, the location, they say, of the crucifixion. Now, where Jesus got nailed to the cross is known as Station 11. Well, the number to pick. Other religions, like the Kaaba, which means the cube, is 11 meters high, roughly, and has been rebuilt 11 times. Again, why is it so sacred? Because according to tradition, this stone was given to Adam on his expulsion from paradise in order to obtain forgiveness of his sins, the black rock. Again, emphasizing on the rock, shows you how symbolic these rocks are. So you've only got to look in other religions. Here, I've just took a generic image from Egypt, and I want to briefly talk about the Ben stone. Ben was the mound or the rock that arose through the primordial waters. Again, emphasizing on the stone, the rock. We find it everywhere. even in the Latter-day Saints, they have the seer's stones, and you also have the tale about where he found through an angel the golden plates, but also he got some spectacles that were known as the interpreters. So he used them to interpret information from the angel from God. So you can just see the emphasis.
So you can just see these things,
Dope.
you know, through this on all the 11 connections. It's like, how many times does something be classed as a coincidence to find it? So we've got all this stuff in this realm mentioning a rock. You can see geode meaning earth. So that is why it was starting on the journey of looking, and obviously the mention of Adam and Eve leaving paradise to go and settle in a cave. So, you know, they just move from one cave to another.
That's good stuff right there. And what you said, right, about the, how would you call it? Let me share screen again, Paul, but that was dope. You said the Ben stone. Oops, hold on. You said the Ben stone, right, emerging from the waters. How did we not put that together? That's what they're showing us. Where is it gone?
Yeah, in the other the 3 tier 1.
Rising through the waters. Primordial waters. All right, this is the primordial waters. The Ben stone rising through the primordial waters. All right, that's just like the lens. It's placed, you know, halfway through the iris pupil and then submerged at the rest. You know, almost like a submarine. That's interesting. Ben stone rides through the primordial waters. All right. That's interesting. I've never heard someone put that together like that.
It's just crazy, isn't it, when we just look at everything, you know. You know, so it's just so funny because you just think, honestly, people don't understand like how you miss your content, and because you do that many content and you're always on the next thing, you know what I mean, and you forget all the stuff that you know you incorporate in your videos because you're always moving on to the next. So if anyone's like interested in the stuff, just look at I've got a playlist on it, and then go to London's channel, and he's got his eyes stuff, and check that out.
I mean, look, you make a good point there, Paul. You know, sometimes I make stuff and I'm on to the next one. I don't really sit there and drill it into people. I just make it, put it up there, and you take it for what it is, then I'm on to the next one. Maybe I should take time and concentrate on that one. If I drop something, concentrate on it for a few months before I even release the next one, but keep on going over. I don't know, or maybe I should just keep doing what I'm doing. But you're right, because we keep moving on and we forget what we've got there sometimes.
There you go. Sam must have disappeared.
Yeah, I lost connection.
Lost connection. It's his dog. He's not feeding the dog. He's eating on his phone.
Beating the postman.
But it should fascinate everyone looking at different things, and this is what was basically on your channel last night, is how do all of us see different things, because we're interpreting the information differently. Again, we're all the rock, we're all interpreting the rock, you know what I mean? And it's mind-blowing. I mean, what's funny is when years ago when I was doing that video and I was basically just get it off my screen, the information about that 11, it blew me away. But what also blew my mind was, and you don't even see these things and think about it, that's the scary thing. So you talk about us being carbon, but that's like the second most abundant thing in these bodies. Right? Our crystal is basically, if I remember, it was 60. I think it was 65% as well that it was crystal, if I remember. So it's the 11. But oxygen is the mass element in our body, and it says around 65%. So even the oxygen is an 11. It's like, surely something's happening with these 11s, and that just represents something like a doorway or a transition. It's, you know, it's needed. It's not supposed. That's why I was talking about the two-headed eagle in the reference to what people are talking about Tartaria. It's like it appears first in the Hittites and Sumerian times when it was put on seals and on doors, on gates, because obviously it needed to see both ways. And that's when the first time it was referenced. And I get excited when we look at information, and even when we look at London stuff. I've been doing stuff in the Cape, but you can't help but be intrigued when London talks about his eye and other people talk about their things about this, because it can't be just me that people are bored, must be bored of the same thing, the same people going over the same information. We have to evolve it somehow. And that's why I go through most communities and just look for inspiration. But the sticking point is people are always stuck on something. It has to be this. Well, you should be your mind should be working, like we was talking about, interpreting and taking other channels, creating other pathways. And that's what's happening when we create other pathways. That's why I was intriguing last night when you was talking about conscious salmon, and you're talking about the what they call now, the chakras. And some people get put off by chakras, all that hippie stuff. But think about it, couldn't chakras, they are points on the body, but could they not be pathways? So you you change it now. Oh, I'm opening up my chakra, but could you not be opening up another neural pathway? Could that not be it? And you're opening up another pathway, and that's signaling something in you to to turn on. Basically, you basically looking for another path to something. And we've been talking about the path of least resistance, like rivers and water take. Us as a human, our mind takes the path to least resistance. It looks for the easiest answer first, then it starts looking for other pathways. But that's why we find it hard and why we get attached to something, because it's easy, and it's easy for our brains to figure out. When it gets too complex, our mind won't acknowledge it, and how you then get triggered. That is a involuntary thing that your brain is trying to say, oh no, we're not liking this. And that's what happens in the community. What we was on about, and if anyone wants to watch it, it's on London's main channel last night. And what started it off was I was just asking, are we really open-minded? Because all of us, if you're being honest, I've put my hand up. When someone starts talking about something, we're like, damn, and you're like, oh, really? So are we really open-minded? And these are some of the things I like to talk about, just to, flush anything out and get to the bare bones of things, because you just don't know what's out there. We're all interpreting this information differently. And all these ancient people were interpreting this information differently. So they were seeing it. Oh, and 100 people said, you know what? He's right. Scroll, written, right? That's law. That's a fact. When it was all based on his interpretation. Now, we all see things differently. Go into a room, I ask you to count something. It's not always the same that you're going to count the same number, because sometimes your mind plays with things. Oh, is there something hidden? And, there's a light reflecting. Our mind plays games with us. And it's just fascinating to see each interpretation, each Peter within us interpret the perspective for this realm. Because you shouldn't, like me in London have been talking about on you, Sam, you shouldn't have a pile like that of what this place is. Surely you should just have if everything is a fact.
Mm-hmm. And can I just say, the easiest way to find London's channel, if you type in London space Mook Loving, and you'll see his channel come up, KJV, underneath. Now, the chat we had last night is in his live section. I think the title was Pop Up, wasn't it, London? But yeah, all of his content's there. You'll find it easy that way. But as I say, we was talking about this last night, Paul, weren't we? The pathways in the brain, how you can doing certain meditations and practices, you can rewire your brain almost, you know, do all the different neurons and pathways that are up there. You were talking about this, London, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly. The brain is a complex thing. Well, not even just the brain, but the human body itself, you know.
Yeah.
It's fascinating when I think about it, especially how it's almost like a machine itself, and especially the brain is like the computer, right? Yeah, it's fascinating. The things that the body can do and the things that the mind can process, you know, especially in a dreamlike state as well. You know, you're supposed to be dead to the world, sleep. Like when you think of sleep, right, it's supposed to be like well, in my opinion, like something safe about it, you know, because you're very vulnerable, so to speak. Anything can happen to you. You understand? And
Yeah.
it's only because we're being protected. Whether we're in a house or we've got family around us, but we're in a vulnerable state where anything can snatch us, right? But not only being in a vulnerable state, right? You can actually be in a different realm. Like you can be, I don't know whether it's disconnected or you're connected to the world. It's like a paradox. When you're asleep, are you disconnected or are you connected? Because the brain's still going on, even though the body shut down.
Yeah.
Activity is still going on. Activity is still going on. But you're in
Like
a vulnerable.
lucid dreaming. If you've ever lucid dreamed, and the easiest way to do that is if you can get control of your body in a dream, is to actually look at your hands and you go into lucid. But that's bizarre. That is where it's literally like you're experiencing now, but you're in a world where nothing makes sense, and you're literally manifesting it as you're going through. So you think of things, and they appear in front of you, like the dream is manifested by your thoughts. They're very bizarre. They are very difficult to do. I've only done it a couple of times, but yeah, very weird, very weird. And getting to talk to people as well in like like I was talking the other day about that spiritual school I went to. The lady Molly, she would go into a trance by having a candle in front of her, and not only her voice but her face would change through the not only it's weird because it wasn't really the smoke of the candle, but her face would change into two old Chinese men and a Native American Indian, and you could actually talk to them and get like gnosis from them. Yeah, it's very bizarre, like the different things that go on in this realm that we're in, that unless you've experienced it and only hear about it, it's yeah, totally different thing when you've actually seen it. Because when she used to go into trance, some people that had only come to the school and had done maybe 4 or 5 weeks, they'd never come back again because it would scare the granny out of them, basically. Because it is quite intense, you know, seeing someone's face change and actually being able to talk to them and the voice change, and you realise that you're actually talking to a different, well, you're talking to spirit, basically.
Got you. Hey, Paul, there's something I wanted to show you, right? There's a connection that I came across as well. I was going to present it to you. Mic check, can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't know where I've gone. Go on.
You okay? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. You look like you wanted to tell me something. You got something for me before I go?
No, I'll let you go. It's in between what we're all talking about today, and I'm just getting it ready. Like, and my computer, you know, it doesn't do as it's told. It's like I have to watch what I'm pressing because I don't want to end the stream.
Got you. Say no more. Got you. So I'll share my screen real quick.
This is what you should be doing as well, Sam. Getting sharing stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get myself a new computer to do all that.
Boom. What's this? Yeah, go ahead. All right, now my last upload, I presented this right. Now, like I was saying, the German seal, right? Right? Now, I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying and what I'm showing you, because I think the eye doctors, ophthalmologists, I think they definitely know what's going on, right? Now, if we go over here, right? They're showing you 20/20 vision, right? This is how it lines up, right? This is how it will line up. Your 20/20 vision. You get your 0 in the middle. You see that how you showed me with the 1 earlier? You get the 1, the 0, 1, right? This is the 20, the 0, and the 20. This is your 20/20 vision, right? This is what they're showing you. They're trying to realign it. Look, your 20, your 0, and your 20. They're showing you 20/20 vision in the eye. Can't make this shit up, Paul. I really can't.
And what got me thinking there was, what's in the last image? They use an image of an apple. Where does the apple come into it? You know, the apple of my eye. We was just talking
it's
about
malum.
family earlier, weren't we?
Yeah, apple means malum in Latin, which is tied to the eye, the pupil,
Right.
and the apple. That's where the apple comes from.
Oh, I get you.
The Big Apple, New York, New York.
Yeah. So they named it twice. It's mad, isn't it, when you show all these things. I swear I did something on the Schwabland. I think it was the one of the cult videos that I did. Yeah, it's it's just so intriguing. Yeah, so that's where the pupil is in Latin is malum, meaning bad. You know.
Crazy, right? I can't make this shit up, but it presents itself to me, and I'm just like, okay, I wonder if they're gonna believe me this time. But, you know, it's wild. 20/20 vision, eh? So here first on the Moot show with London, Paul, and Sam. Salute.
Big hugs, bruv.
So what intrigued me about what we was talking about before, let me find where I've put it, because I put stuff somewhere and I just get where is it now? I'll find it somewhere. It's mainly where is it? Where have I put it? You know what? I just put things somewhere and it's like, what are you doing, Paul?
No,
yeah, but so basically, I'll read it. I don't like read it out well, but I'll talk about it. It just I wanted it to share it with me, but I put it somewhere. Did I put it in a file? Let me have a look if I put it. Yeah, I put it in a file. Yeah. Here we go. I'll enlarge it. So we're talking. I'm going to show the screen now. You can see how dead professional we are. Just me. So let's share the screen. It's crazy. So why people always ask me, so you got Janice is connected with a rock, and I've showed you so much in the years. Now have a look at this. Janice primarily is the god of gates, but that has a different name. And there you go. Caves have been central to folklore around this world for centuries, often representing liminal spaces between worlds. Places of mystery and sources of both danger and wonder. Janice is the chief liminal god. That's why he's important, because if we are in caves, he is the answer to get through to each cave, because he is a chief god of gates and doorways and passageways, a liminal. So you can see why it intrigues me when he's a chief liminal god. You know, that just screams to me straight away. Let me just stop this sharing. You know, so he's a chief liminal god. So if like I was theorizing, we're in the cave, within the cave, and that's how you get around. Not only do you remember those Janice Islands, either end, they've named that there for a reason. Why would you just name an island in the middle of bloody nowhere?
Yeah.
The Janice Island, and at the side of that it says Gateway Island or Shortcut Island. Shortcut to where? You know.
Wow.
So you know, he is a liminal god in this sense, and even in it says his name is Deus Deorum, meaning God of gods, and you had to pray to him first to even pray to another god first. It had to go through him. So it's the same as an eye, the light coming through, you know, the windows to the soul, and all this stuff from rock, because the rocks and caves are liminal. That's why they said the deities and the gods and the devil and the underworld, you have to go into a cave to reach it. You know, like the film 20. What was that one? The old one that Sam, because we're a bit old in London. Is it Journey to the Centre of the Earth or something like that?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
then
an
he
old
went
video,
through a volcano.
Yeah.
And things like that to get to these other realms, the doorways, passageways.
And did you say, Paul, there's a Janice Island at the east and west, each side?
Each side, well, so-called north and south. One of them's in the middle, where the Greenland and it all disappeared. There's a Janice Island there. And then in Antarctica, which I think means, if you break it down, Antarctica means no bears. That's what its etymology means. It was a bear. Hence, I was trying to look at, could that mean you couldn't see a constellation? You know, the bear constellation. Or is it actually meaning no physical bears there? But yeah, there's one in the south and one in the north. Two islands named by the Cabal. Why would you name two places? Two poles. Again, like
what comes to mind there with your hands? If you put your hands up again like that, Paul, with Janice Island at each end, with us in the middle, it's the 101 again, isn't it?
Yeah, us, Mount Meru.
Yeah,
in the middle. We are you. We are me. And it was like even what's his name? Oh, what was his name? Alistair Crowley did that.
Yeah,
all in that symbol, the 101 baseline knowledge 101, the doorway. It's one of the holiest symbols for Freemasonry. It is that 101, the portal or doorway, and we are in the middle, the Godhead. It could be the eye. We are the Mount Meru. We are the Blackrock. It just seems all to connect.
Yeah, I like that. Definitely.
So you got any other points you want to talk about London or Sam before we go? Finish off with another topic, or you're happy to?
Let me think. Have I got anything? Let me see if I touched on all of my points that I wanted to touch on. So we touched on Tor, meaning, you know, P-Tor. Tor was through Glastonbury, and it's even tied into Glastonbury, right?
Yeah, Glastonbury Tor, yeah, the hill.
Piece of the rock, right? The peak of the rock is tied into Glastonbury Tor. Don't ask me how, but it's there.
Yeah, that's what it's called, the Glastonbury Tor. It's the hill with a little thing on it. It's a famous hill.
There you go. See?
So yeah, it's just the old terminology. They used to call a lot of places the Tor, the Celts and the Brigantes and things like this. You know, all these places like Pendle Hill, where the so-called witches were. That's a similar type of peak. You know, you can see about the ancients. You know, and that ties into what I brought up many moons ago, because all of us have saw people in the community talk about, oh, look at that marble statues. They look really lifelike. They're just petrified. They are, you know, this, they are that. How do they do that? They can't do it now. Blah. And we saw it, haven't we? Well, in an old video, I broke the marble down into two. Obviously, Marbel, L-E, Elohim. Marb actually means spiritually dead. So you can talk about something being spiritually dead and froze, just like a statue. You know, so even marble is a rock or a mineral of sorts, and it was spiritually dead. And in old videos, I talk about, you know, could they have been petrified in a solution frozen, because we saw how some stuff, modern stuff, can get frozen, not like actually ice, but in rock, and it's like it's not been down for millions of years, but sometimes the Earth can do that to modern things, just make it like it's been buried for thousands of years, because you can't date rock because of what it is.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, no, I feel like we touched on a few PowerPoints today. Hopefully we can leave a little bird trail for someone else to can put things together if we missed anything out. But yeah, I feel like we did a good job. Good little chin wag.
Yeah,
Definitely.
don't forget the comments as well, folks, so we can interact with one another there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll finish with a comment and a question to both of you, and try and be honest as much as you can. I don't want to insult anyone or anything like this. It's not me job, but I want to ask, to finish off with on the moot point, is where do you see the community, what we are a part of, whether we like it or not, in 2 years? And that's open to anyone first, whoever wants to answer it.
Sam?
So we've just 2 years. In 18 months, I'm not really sure where the UK is going to be. So I can see it splintering. This is why we need to really come together now and actually make sure that we're in the communities that we want to be in, with the like-minded, trusted people. Because there's a lot coming down the pike, I think, and unless we're prepared and we've done the work to set up these communities and actually make contact with one another properly, rather than just meeting one another sometimes in chats, we should be trying to find one another on things like Telegram Elements. You've got Signal, loads of different apps you can use. I think it's possibly going to be splintered, but I think that's possibly going to be the way of the world, really, unfortunately. What do you reckon, London?
2 years' time. What I can see now, I feel like it's probably going to be far and few, to be honest with you. And I mean that in a good way, right? I mean that in a good way, because I can see the direction of the masses now, what their attention seems to be, focused on. And it's only the people that really want the real, or not even the real, something different, right, that will come together. There's people that want something different, but the numbers are very small, right, of the people that want something different. And I can see it coming more like almost like a secret teaching, right, and the occultic side of it. Because that's what it is really, isn't it? We're exposing the occultic side of things, where we're starting to embody it to a degree, but in a good term, right? Showing you the hidden things, showing you an alternative, what things could be, right? And we're using their weapons, what their terminologies, right? And we're putting the pieces together, right? But at the same time, I could see the following getting smaller, which isn't a bad thing, because it narrows it down to the people who really seem interested, right? So 2 years, it may not be what we think what we want it to be, but I'm okay with that, right? And the reason why I say that, because I could prove myself wrong. It could turn out the other way, which would be even better, right? But obviously, the secret stuff, a lot of people don't look into that really. You got to bring it to them, right? The things that are hidden in dirt, the gems, right, so to speak, you got to give it to them. People don't go looking for it. Some of the stuff that I've been presenting, I've had to give it to them. They don't go looking for it. Some of the stuff Paul's been presenting, we got to give it to them. They don't go looking for it, right? So it all depends on how much information we put out there, and the timing of when we put it out there. I'll leave it there.
It's a weird question of sorts, isn't it? Where do you see the community? I mean, it's very fractured, I believe. There is a lot of topics that people, you know, it's like my last video. You put a certain name in front of it, it gets more traction. There will always be a topic that is the flavour of the month of sorts. On a whole, me, London, do stuff that is not the flavour of the month, just because that's intriguing us. We like to look at stuff. But here's another question for people at home today before we go is, think about it now. We've talked about the rock, the Peters, the interpreter. We're interpreting the information, but are we interpreting an interpretation? Can you see where I'm getting? What is the original source of information? What is the topic? If we're just interpreting an interpretation, we're basing what we believe and say looking at an interpretation, which is, it's like a weird paradox, isn't it? It's like, well, we're just interpreting on an interpretation who may have interpreted off another interpretation. And it's like what we was talking about in the buildings. You know, it's source ground, it's source the top floor. And what an interpreter basically is they go between each floor, talking to people, looking at information and interpreting that and passing that information on to the next floor where it will change slightly because the next person would have like Chinese whispers. And this is what happens. But it's intriguing just to try and find that source of the information and what they originally saw or did. And will we ever get there? I don't know. We might have done some things. We might be far removed. Is it just the loop, the plan? You know, it's like a hollow cave in a sense of we're hearing our own echoes. You know, how can echoes work if we're not in a cave?
Yeah.
You know, they all talk about we're living in an echo chamber because you surround yourself in them. But what if we actually are in a cave? So that is why we're interested in these topics, guys. And this is why I wanted to do this moot, because I just want to talk about things that make us intrigued and go from there and talk about any topic. It will always change. These are just some of the things we're talking about this week because London and I have just been doing things on that. So it's fresh in our minds. And we'll go away. We'll try and do a bit of research, like Sam wants us to, on some of the topics that we want to bring to the table. And it's why it's valid. And we need your comments. We're going to do some of these live if the guys can want to do that. We'll do the odd one live, and you know, then you can also ask questions, and we can interact with the chat and promote stuff. But it's brilliant, and this is why I'm just thankful for the guys giving up the time. So please just go to London's channel. You just type in London McLovin. You'll find him, KJV. And then Sam's not got a channel yet, but he supports everyone. He does a lot of work behind closed doors for a lot of channels. So it's appreciated. And thanks, guys, for coming. I'll let you both have the final say, you know, on your channels or what you've got coming up. And then we'll call it a day. So go on, London. You go first.
Cheers. I've just dropped the final experiment. For those of you who don't know, you may want to go and have a look at that. It gives you another insight to what we call this realm Earth, right? Jam-packed with different stuff. So yeah, just keep the fire lighted, man. Keep the fire firing and just stay positive and just do what you got to do. Family first, pay it forward and all that good stuff. Lay low. Yeah, Paul, thanks for having me, my man. Bless up, Sam.
Yeah, just big hugs, everyone, and take care out there and stay loyal to the foil.
And remember, guys, if you see someone running around naked in a gimp mask, just say, "Oi, Sam!"
Put some clothes on.
Oi, Sam.
Sam Bino's on the wild. He's on the prowl, guys and ladies. Hey, whatever floats his boat, you know, at least he's getting out there, you know, running free. I know I'm tight with them, guys, but it's all in good, you know, it's what it gets. So, guys, always stay safe, always put a smile, support everyone, and I'll see you next time. This is the end of the Moot. The Moot. Bye, guys.
Lay low.